You ever see a moment so ugly in public that it makes your stomach turn? That's what happened on a Tuesday afternoon in a boutique where the floors shine like mirrors and the price tags make you hold your breath. A white store manager decided to humiliate a black woman right there in front of everyone, thinking she could get away with it. She had no idea that the woman standing in her store was the very last person she should have picked a fight with. It started with the sound of a bag being yanked. "You don't belong here," the manager snapped, her voice slicing through the quiet like broken glass. Her name was Linda Moore, 40-something, sharp eyes that never softened, clutching a bottle of orange soda like it was part of her hand. And the woman she was aiming all that venom at, Naomi Carter, a black woman dressed with that kind of elegance that whispers money without trying too hard. Naomi didn't raise her voice, didn't fight back. She just looked at Linda and said calmly, "Let go of my bag. You're treating me differently because of my skin." That line, so steady, so true, it lit a fuse inside Linda. Her face flushed, she unscrewed that soda bottle, and with one violent tilt, poured the sticky orange liquid all over Naomi's head and blazer. It ran down her face, staining her clothes, dripping onto the marble floor while customers gasped. Linda actually smiled like she had won some twisted game. Naomi didn't scream. She didn't lash out. She wiped her face with the back of her hand and whispered words that made the manager flinch without even knowing why. "You have no idea what you've just done." Now, if you had walked into that boutique 5 minutes earlier, you'd never have guessed any of this was coming. Naomi Carter wasn't just any shopper. At 39, she had built herself from nothing. Came from the islands with her grandmother when she was just a kid, cleaning houses while studying business at night, buying her first rundown property before most of her friends even finished college. Fast forward, by the time she walked into that store, Naomi owned 12 shopping centers scattered across 3 states. She liked to check in on her properties quietly, walking through stores like any other customer, watching how people got treated when they thought no one important was paying attention. And then there was Linda. She'd been running that boutique for years, barely holding on to the job, desperate to project authority in a world she still felt excluded from. She lived on nerves and orange soda, puffing herself up by cutting others down. The second she saw Naomi step into her store, something in her twitched: jealousy, insecurity, call it what you want. She called over Daniel Ruiz, the mall security guard, and pointed. "Check her bag before she goes in," she ordered. Now, Daniel wasn't new to this. He'd been Army before he was mall security. He'd just watched a dozen white customers breeze in with oversized bags and backpacks, not a single one stopped. But when the manager singled out Naomi, the one woman of color, he felt his gut tighten. Still, protocol tied his hands. He searched Naomi's bag, polite as possible. Wallet, phone, makeup, charger. Nothing out of the ordinary. He gave her the bag back with an apologetic glance. Linda wasn't satisfied. She leaned on her youngest employee, Emily Tran, just 24, fresh out of fashion school. "Follow her," Linda hissed. "Watch everything she touches." Emily hesitated, whispered that Naomi seemed like any normal shopper. But Linda snapped, "Do as I say, or maybe this job isn't for you." Emily obeyed, heart heavy, watching as Naomi browsed dresses with the eye of someone who knew fine stitching from cheap fabric. And while Naomi shopped, Linda played a crueler game. She sneered loud enough for other customers to hear. "Some people don't understand quality. You can always tell when they're out of their element." She smirked and sipped her soda like it was liquid courage. But Linda wasn't content with insults. While Naomi was focused on a beaded gown, Linda slid over to the jewelry counter, slipped a $500 bracelet into Naomi's open handbag with the ease of someone who'd rehearsed this move. Insurance, she thought. The perfect trump card. Emily noticed Linda acting strange, too careful around the display case, and it gnawed at her. Moments later, Naomi picked out her items, over $6,000 worth of designer clothes and shoes. Instead of celebrating a high sale, Linda made it a spectacle. "Do you realize how much these cost?" she said loudly, like Naomi couldn't count. She demanded proof Naomi could pay. When Naomi handed over her black credit card, Linda squinted at it like it was fake, calling the company right in front of everyone talking about fraud and stolen identities. The purchase went through, but Linda waved it off. Computer errors happened, and then came the explosion. Linda threw back her head and shouted, "Wait a second, I saw you slip something in your purse from jewelry. A gold bracelet." The store went silent, every eye on Naomi. People stopped mid-step. Children froze, customers stared. Naomi blinked in disbelief. "What? That's ridiculous." But Linda doubled down, pointing, accusing, her voice rising. "She's a thief." She lunged, tried to snatch the handbag from Naomi's shoulder. The two women struggled. Naomi clinging to her property, Linda yanking with desperation. Phones came out, customers recording the madness, kids started crying. And in the middle of that chaos, Naomi's calm voice cut through. "You planted something, didn't you? That's why you want my bag so badly." For a heartbeat, guilt flashed in Linda's eyes. Everyone saw it. Then she screamed even louder, waving her soda bottle like a weapon. "She attacked me! Call the cops!" And in one final act of cruelty, Linda uncapped the bottle again and dumped the last of the soda over Naomi's head. Gasps filled the store. People muttered, horrified. Linda spun the story, shouting, "She assaulted me. She's dangerous." It was gaslighting at its ugliest. Victim turned into aggressor in real time. But Naomi, she didn't break. Dripping with soda, she pulled a tissue from her bag and calmly wiped her face. Then she took out her phone and dialed. "Hello, Marcus. It's Naomi. I'm at Crescent Galleria. Yes, our newest acquisition. The boutique has a serious management problem. Contact legal. We'll need employee files pulled for immediate termination." The words sliced through the store like a lightning bolt. Emily froze. Acquisition. Daniel frowned. He had heard the name Naomi Carter before in company emails and news about mall ownership changes. Emily quickly searched her phone, her hands shaking. The headlines popped up. Carter Development Group acquires Crescent Galleria Mall in multi-million-dollar deal. There was Naomi's face smiling confidently in the business section. Emily gasped. Daniel's stomach dropped. Meanwhile, Linda was still ranting, demanding a bag search, totally oblivious that the floor beneath her was crumbling. Naomi ended the call, slipped her phone away, then looked Linda straight in the eye. "I own this mall. I own this store. And I am your employer." You could have heard a pin drop. The crowd went dead quiet. Linda's face twisted from defiance to fear. "You're lying," she sputtered, voice cracking. "Look at you. You can't." Even in her panic, her prejudice leaked out. She couldn't accept that a black woman could own the place she worked. Naomi reached into her bag, pulled out the gold bracelet Linda had planted, held it high for everyone to see. "You put this in my bag, and the cameras will prove it." Linda went pale, knees buckling. Emily finally spoke up. Her voice steady now. "I saw her near the jewelry case acting sneaky. I didn't know what she was doing, but now I do." Daniel stepped forward, radio in hand. "Security footage will settle this. We'll have it in minutes." And just then, the mall director himself arrived, sweating bullets. "Miss Carter, we are so sorry. We had no idea." His words confirmed everything. Naomi was the real power here. Naomi turned back to Linda, her tone calm but sharp as glass. "You're fired, effective immediately, for assault, discrimination, and planting evidence." The words hit like a gavel in a courtroom. Linda begged, stammering, looking for sympathy, but there was none. Not from the crowd, not from Emily, not from Daniel. The security footage rolled minutes later, showing Linda slipping that bracelet into Naomi's bag. No more denial, no more games. Mall security escorted Linda out as she screamed, "It's not fair! I was protecting the store." Her protests echoed down the corridor like the last cries of someone who had finally been caught. Naomi didn't stop there. She looked at Emily, who'd found her courage. "You're the new manager. Integrity matters more than seniority." Emily's eyes welled up as she nodded. Then Naomi addressed the crowd still holding their phones up, still stunned at what they just seen. Discrimination ends today. Every property we own will implement training to make sure no customer is ever treated like this again. Dignity isn't optional, it's a right. The place erupted in applause. Some cheered, some cried, most just recorded, knowing they had witnessed something that would spread far beyond that boutique. Naomi gathered her purchases, still sticky, with soda but standing taller than ever. She had walked in a Target, walked out a victor. And as she left, her words lingered in the air. The truth always comes out. Remember that before you decide how to treat someone. So let me ask you, if you had been standing in that store watching a manager humiliate a customer just because of her skin color, would you have spoken up or stayed silent until the truth slapped everyone in the face? Drop your thoughts in the comments because these stories aren't just about malls or managers. They're about the choices we make when dignity's on the line.